जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चारी। यमुना तीरावन चारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari, Jai Radha Madhava Vallabha Girivaradhari. Shri Radha Madhav ki, Shri Radha Sham Sundar ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Just very briefly, we'll talk about what we covered yesterday. So yesterday we were talking about the art of seeking forgiveness and forgiving. So the first thing that we discussed was, when do we require forgiveness? So you require forgiveness when you have made some mistake. And whenever we have made some mistake, we expect that the other person will forgive us. Whereas when somebody else makes a mistake towards us, then by default we are thinking that they should get justice. So we have this different expectation. It should be the other way around, that when we make mistake, we should be seeking justice. That I should actually get the repercussion of this mistake that I have done. I should immediately get the result of it. And when somebody else makes a mistake, we should be very forgiving and immediately forgive that person. But we have this opposite expectation. And of course, I am not going to speak about the entire lecture, but just to briefly, to begin with, we talked about the example of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. That we are trying to be a devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And the Lord expects that we forgive others. As a devotee, He is expecting that we should forgive others. And He is not only speaking and asking us to forgive, but He is setting a right example in front of all of us. And we talked about so many examples from Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially Lord Krishna's character. And such a wonderful character of Lord Krishna. We saw that when somebody's intention is wrong and his action is proper, the Lord forgives the intention and just takes the action. And we talked about various examples. Then we saw when somebody's action is wrong, but the intention is alright. So Krishna is actually forgives, he is forgiving the action but taking the intention. And in these two situations, we do not even have to ask for forgiveness. Automatically Krishna takes whatever is good and forgives the bad that we have done. But when both action and intentions are wrong towards the Supreme Lord, like in the case of Indra, Brahma, Kaliya, and even so many others that we see in examples, in that case, what happens is, as soon as we seek forgiveness, even though there is nothing good that we have done, action was also bad, intention was also bad. So there was nothing good that we did. But as soon as we seek forgiveness, Krishna immediately forgives. In the first two cases, we do not even have to ask for forgiveness. In the third case, we seek forgiveness, and immediately as soon as we seek forgiveness, He is ready to forgive us. And the fourth scenario that we saw, that only in one case, Lord doesn't forgive, which is when we are offending His devotees. But in that case as well, He doesn't leave us on our own. What He does, He actually directs us, says He still helps us by directing us, saying that, okay, you go and seek forgiveness from this devotee that you have offended, and that is the only way that you can be forgiven. So, in this case as well, He helps us by directing. So, in all the cases, the Supreme Lord is so forgiving. Immediately He is ready to forgive. Sometimes we don't even have to ask, He forgives. When in some situations where we require some forgiveness, as soon as we seek forgiveness, He forgives. And in case where He is not able to forgive us, there also He helps us by directing us. So this is the wonderful character of Lord Krishna. And we all are trying to be His devotees. So if we are trying to be His devotees, then how do we actually practice seeking forgiveness and forgiving as well? So this as well, that is what Srimad Bhagavatam is given. So we were speaking yesterday that Srimad Bhagavatam is full of devotees and other people making mistakes. But the Srimad Bhagavatam book is not the book of mistakes. But the book is about how the devotees recover from these mistakes. There are different scenarios which are coming, and each scenario is giving a different way how the devotee has come back from his and revived from his mistake. So it is like phoenix that we talk about sometimes. The materialists talk about that from the ashes the phoenix rises again. So even the worst situation that happens, the devotee comes back and he shines. Just like Parikshit Maharaj. He did such a simple mistake, and we will talk about this situation today, little bit in elaboration. Yes, bro. Towards Krishna. Oh, how it works with the non-devotees? We will come to it. So yesterday was specifically towards how, if we have done something towards Lord Krishna, then how Krishna is reciprocating. today's session and tomorrow's session is specifically about the relationship between devotees. But most of the scenarios that we're going to talk about, the steps as well, they are actually applicable for non-devotees as well. That if you care about any particular relationship and there are some mistakes which have happened in the relationship, what should you do? How you should seek forgiveness, and if somebody else has mistake towards you, then how you should forgive. So these principles that we are going to talk about today and tomorrow, they are applicable for devotees, non-devotees, everyone. But we are specifically, because we are talking about Srimad Bhagavatam's examples, most of the examples that I will talk about are from Srimad Bhagavatam, talking about the relationship between devotees. Okay. Where were we? Yeah. Yeah, so Srimad Bhagavatam, so how Parikshit Maharaj made a small mistake, and even though he was cursed for such a small mistake to die within 7 days, what is happening is, he is using those 7 days for reading or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is setting such a wonderful example in front of all of us. And because of Parikshit Maharaj, not only he is getting benefited, but all of us have got benefited because of this small mistake, so-called mistake that he has done. So today we will specifically, so 3-part seminar. Yesterday we spoke about the inspiration that we can derive from the example of Lord Shri Krishna. Today we are going to speak on art of seeking forgiveness, and tomorrow we are going to speak on art of forgiving. So as I mentioned, that these 2 parts are specifically amongst devotees. For example, if you make a mistake towards Lord Krishna, it is easy for asking forgiveness from him, because he is such a great, he is the supreme personality, right? And we are such tiny people. So there is a gap is so huge. So it is very easy for us to go and, oh Krishna, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. You are so merciful. Please forgive me. But when it happens amongst the 2 devotees, we are thinking, "Arey, ye to mere saath hi hai. This is like equal to me. How can I seek forgiveness from him?" So all these obstacles, one of the obstacle was, I am a senior and he is a junior. But even amongst equals as well, it becomes so difficult. So surrender also is similar. We can surrender to Krishna easily, but surrendering to a devotee is harder. And that is the difference between a Kanishtadhikari and Madhyamadhikari. Kanishtadhikari is only recognizing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He or she will go to the temple, he will worship the Lord, he will do proper deity worship. But when it comes to other devotees, he will ignore them. Sometimes he will thrash them, he will speak harsh words. All of this is a sign of being a Kanishtadhikari. When we actually advance in our devotion, then we actually start not only respecting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but along with Supreme Personality of Godhead, we also start respecting his devotees. And then we also care about the devotees, and we actually care about those relationships, and we try to maintain those relationships. And when we actually go even further, we further advance, then our circle becomes even bigger. Not only we recognize the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only we are recognizing and caring about the devotees, but a pure devotee who is the highest at his Krishna consciousness, he also recognizes and understands all the living entities. He understands that all the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Not only these devotees, but also the others. And then he is actually treating with compassion with everyone. And he sees the Supreme Lord is sitting as Super Soul in everyone's heart. And that is the difference between the 3 stages. So we are actually going to, that's why, focus on the relationship between the devotees and how we can improve those relationships by seeking forgiveness. And there are lots of activities which are going to be there. So don't worry, you will not require tea today. I have made sure, like yesterday, I added few activities, and in the morning I added even more. I thought that breakfast was good. It was quite heavy. I'm going to struggle if I speak for 2.5 hours here. No, I'm not going to struggle. You will struggle if I speak continuously for 2.5 hours. So I can reduce the content, added more activities today. So I can see some eyes dropping already. It is such a hypnotic effect that I have. I should become a hypnotist. I'm going to wake you up very soon. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. No. So, in fact, we actually discussed that even your intention is good and action is good, still someone will get offended. So it doesn't matter whether intention is good or action is good, and or the intention is good, action is bad, or action is good, intention is bad, or both are bad. Of course, in these three cases, definitely you are offending someone. But even in situations where your intention was good, your action was also good, and you are trying to help, and most of the devotees may get pleased in that situation. But it is possible that while doing this, you may offend someone by mistake. So as long as someone has got offended, whether your action was good or bad, intention was good or bad, it doesn't matter. They have got offended now. So, and that is why it is said that even unknowingly if you have offended, you still have to seek forgiveness. And how would you know? That we are going to see today. That how will you know when you have offended someone? So today we are going to actually talk about the three parts in art of seeking forgiveness. First one is, how do we know that we need forgiveness? That is the first topic. And the second one is going to be, what are the obstacles? I think it is very briefly we are going to touch upon because we have already seen the obstacles in yesterday's session. And the third one is, finally, what is the Bhagavatam way of seeking forgiveness? In all the situations where there are these different devotees are going and seeking forgiveness, even though the situations are different, there are some particular method that is there that we are going to take out and then we are going to apply in our life. And then there are some situations which I am going to give you for seeking forgiveness yourself. Okay? Are you ready? Shall we start? You got the summary, Prabhu, finally? First of all, how do we know that we need forgiveness? You tell me. How do you know that you need forgiveness? Yes, they have let you know. See, this is the best part of being in devotee community. The devotees are so merciful. As soon as you offend them, they will let you know. Isn't that amazing? Especially the practicing devotees, they will immediately know. Offense, Prabhu, offense. Right? So, the devotees will let you know. What are the other ways that you will know that you need now forgiveness? You have to seek forgiveness. How would you do that? Right. It's a good point. Actually, something in your heart will tell you that you have made a mistake. The super soul who's sitting inside you is very tricky. He immediately tells you, kuch to gadbad hai. Something wrong you have done, right? And we will elaborate a little bit more on that. But what are the other reasons? There was one. Yeah. Vinay Prabhu. Others will let you know that it was between you and me, but somebody else will come and tell you, oh Prabhu, I think you have offended this person. I was observing, yeah, which is good, right? This is very good. That you do not know that you have offended someone, but someone else is helping you. Such friend should be there for you. Even if he is not doing out of friendship, still it is good. But generally the devotees are helping you so that you know that you should seek forgiveness and you should not ruin that relationship. If that devotee did not tell you, you wouldn't know. And because you didn't know, you wouldn't understand why this devotee is now behaving in such a way to me. Kal tak to acha tha. Today He's crossing the road and going from the other side when he's seeing. No, Arya, what has happened? Yes, Sitaramaya Prabhu, you did like that? Yes, Prabhu. So Prabhuji is blaming the victim only now. I have offended you, but why are you offending me in return? You are not speaking to me. No, Prabhuji, when this happens, that this other person is not speaking to you now, you should introspect and think, why, what I have done that he is not speaking to me now. Instead of blaming, Arey Prabhuji, you are making an offense to me now that you are not speaking with me. Okay, silence. Normal. Yes, but Prabhu, yesterday he did not behave properly, right? But this is a sign. This is a sign that he should think about what I did yesterday, which has given me this reaction. This is a sign for you that you should introspect instead of thinking something is wrong with this person. No, you should think about what is wrong with me or what did I do wrong yesterday because of which I am in this situation today. Is that making sense, Prabhu, or still not making sense? What should you do in that situation, Prabhu? Now, so suppose you don't know, something has happened yesterday, okay, because of which the other person is upset. You don't know what you have done, and this person has started behaving like this. What should you do? No, listen to it. So what should you do, Prabhu? That is what I am asking. Arey, but now what should you do? You haven't realized, what should you do now? Okay, can someone give some solution to Sitaramaya Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu. Simple question, simple thing, Prabhu. You have to go today and you have to see that this person is not speaking to you. You should find some corner him and ask, Prabhuji, what did I do wrong? Please let me know. I treat you like a very good friend. Clearly, I have offended you in some way. That is why you are not speaking with me. Can you please let me know what wrong I have done? Can you do that? Correct. You have to go and ask, Prabhu, right? You ask me, I'll tell you. I'm going to take care of that situation as well. Just hold on today. Okay? So this situation can also be tackled. And Bhagavatam way. Srimad Bhagavatam actually gives what to do in that situation as well. Okay? So, coming back to how do we know that we need forgiveness? So I think some of the solutions were that the devotee will tell you, somebody else will tell you, the heart will tell you, and sometimes you will not know. And then you can ask, right? Yeah. Are there any other ways that you will know that whether you need to seek forgiveness? Yes. Yeah, like the reaction. Okay, there's somebody you can see they are angry. Very good point. It happens little bit slowly and it deteriorates slowly. So, but you can actually understand that if you introspect properly, you will find out that actually my taste in chanting is going, or I was doing much more services before, but now I am not feeling like that. So what is wrong? What did I do wrong? So there could be multiple reasons, and one of the most important reason is that you have offended someone. And in that situation, if you do not know it has like a long time it has passed, then there are still ways which we are going to see, but then we should just seek forgiveness from the Supreme Lord and pray to Him that I don't know who I have offended. Please help me understand who I have offended. It will surprise you how quickly the Lord tells you. You will find out very quickly that who you have offended. Sooner or later, some conversation, somewhere you will get an indication, oh, probably this person, that person. And there may be multiple. Okay? Okay. So, of course, there are different ways. And most of the points I was going to cover, you already know. First of all, devotees will tell us that this is something like your behavior is not good. Like the person who you are offended, they themselves with their anger or whatever way, they will tell you that you have offended them. So it is very simple. You immediately get the feedback from the other person. So that is the first way. The second is, you should seek feedback. Now raise your hand if you have asked for feedback in last 1 week. Anyone? About anything, not about this specific topic. You have asked for feedback about your work, your service, your anything in the last 1 week. Okay, very good. So, we should develop this habit of seeking feedback. This will always help us. Even the most, like in the material world as well, the most successful people, and there are these different habits of successful people which are discussed. One of the prime most or the most important thing which most of these surveys or this research finds out, that these successful people have at least 1, 2 or 3 people who they trust quite deeply. And because they have this trust in those people, they are able to go and seek feedback from them. And they are ready to actually take appreciation as well as criticism from them. When somebody like that, they are appreciating, they know that there is no some ulterior motive that this person has. Say suppose tomorrow Mukesh Prabhu comes to you and Mukesh Prabhu starts glorifying you. That Prabhu, you are such a wonderful devotee. Not only you are wonderful, you are like the most pure devotee I have seen in the community. Not only you are the most pure devotee in the community, I think entire ISKCON, I think I have never seen a devotee like you. Then you start thinking, दाल में कुछ काला है. What does he want from me now? No, ये तो हो गया, उसके बाद क्या आने वाला है? What does he exactly wants from me? Isn't it? So when you start seeing some praise, if you do not have full trust, you start thinking there is some ulterior motive here. But we should have someone in our close circle, at least one person, more the better. But you should be able to trust them. You should know that these devotees, if they are giving me some appreciation, it is a genuine appreciation. And if they are giving me some criticism, it is genuine criticism. They are not envious of me. They are not trying to put down me, or they are not trying to trample on me. The main reason why they are giving me some feedback, because they really care about me. And they want me to actually progress in my devotional service. They want me to progress in my life. And that is why they are saying that you should improve this. And at that time, instead of giving some justification, no, you haven't understood, you don't understand what I was doing or whatever. No, listen and accept and try to improve. Because these are the people you are trusting the most, right? So you should be able to hear from them and take the feedback from them. And who is the best person to give you feedback? Absolutely, Prabhu. Your spouse or some family member. They are the closest to you. At the same time, they are not the super soul. So they are not super soul, but they are closest to you. They know you well, but at the same time, just like other people, they are not able to see your intention. the main problem when we offend other people is when we have some intention in our heart. Okay? But the problem is that intention is only known to you. So knowing your intention, you are doing some action. So you know your intention and action both. But what other people can see? Only the action. They have no clue about what your intention is. So because there is a difference that you know your intention and action, and you are doing your action with full knowledge of your intention, but the other people are seeing your action with zero knowledge of your intention. And because of this difference, most of the misunderstandings come into play. And this other person who knows and cares about you, they can actually see this same thing. They can see your action and they will say, hey, what happened? You actually are saying like this. It didn't actually sound very appropriate. And I think if someone was saying this to me, I would be offended. And I would say, oh really? Did I say like this? But my intention was this. Oh, your intention was this? So now you should go and tell that person as well that your intention was this. Isn't that good? That our spouse, your husband or your wife, can tell you or give this feedback to you by observing you that this is something wrong that has happened. Just by looking at your action, I am thinking that the other person may not take it in the way that you wanted it. Of course, in some cases you are purposely doing that action. Your intention is also bad and action is also bad. I am not talking about those scenarios. There you have to actually ask for forgiveness anyway. But those misunderstandings where you do not know that you have made some offense, in that scenario, it is easy to understand but just by talking to someone, if they actually give you that feedback. And the family member, spouse, or even your mentor or your some other close senior devotee that you have some trusted relationship, or even your equals who you have very trusted relationship, they can help you in finding out the difference between your intention and action, and that will help you to then go and seek forgiveness. So I'm going to introduce the first activity now. Okay, probably I'll take one question and then I'll introduce the activity. Yeah, understood. So because the spouse is not the super soul, and the spouse is a completely different person, himself or herself, and that is why the thinking may be different. But that is actually a good thing, that the spouse is not exactly same as you, and she is also not the super soul or he is not the super soul, because of which you are actually coming to know the difference of opinion. And the same thing is going to happen with the other person as well, right? When you are talking to someone else, that other person is also not as close to you as your spouse. At the same time, this person is a different person. So their thinking, their everything will be different than you. Like your background, their background, your frame of mind, their frame of mind, your intention, their understanding, completely different. If your spouse is able to tell you with this different frame of mind that this is something I feel that may have happened, you are at least getting some ideas, and you can utilize those instead of thinking that, oh, they are completely different. You can take it as an opportunity because you are going to actually hear more. And in those situations, you can actually think and see. There is no problem if you actually understand a problem and you go and talk to that person, and the person says, no, nothing happened. I did not take any offense or anything like that. But if you think now you have offended, you can just seek for forgiveness, and that way seeking 10 extra forgivenesses are better than not seeking forgiveness where it was required, right? Okay, so this first activity that for today is quite interesting. It is about seeking feedback. Okay. So please take this opportunity to speak with someone in this retreat. Doesn't have to be someone in this room, but you have to come back within 5 minutes. Please take this opportunity to speak with someone in the retreat. For example, your spouse, a close friend, or a relative, or any other devotee that you trust, and seek feedback. And the feedback doesn't have to be, did I offend anyone? The feedback is, how can I progress spiritually? Or you can ask, do you know if I have offended someone? Or have you heard from someone that I have offended someone? Because the situations actually go on like this. That you tell someone, then tell someone, then tell, and finally you come to know that this has happened. Or any other thing where you think some feedback is required. So any situation, and I would suggest that because we are on the spiritual retreat, take a spiritual topic and seek feedback from someone else. And you should be close in relationship, because then you have that trust, and the other person will also be open to give you feedback. Also remember, feedback doesn't mean criticism. Feedback can also be some good, positive feedback. You can appreciate that, oh, I saw this and you are doing so wonderful. You should do more of that. That is also feedback, right? So every time when we say give feedback, we think, okay, what bad this person has done. No, feedback doesn't mean that. Feedback means you actually give your opinion, some appreciation, some points for improvement, whatever that comes to your mind for that. So that will only work if the other person knows you well. So I would just suggest that you actually choose one person in this room or in the retreat, and then you have only 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, you have to actually give some feedback to someone and also seek feedback from someone. So I'm going to actually ring a bell after 2.5 minutes, so that if you're speaking, then you reverse the roles and you go to the next other person, or from the same person you can reverse the role. Yes, Mother, what is the question? Oh, Krishna. So I know that there will be hundreds of devotees here. It is a very trusting relationship, and there are hundreds of devotees you trust. And in 5 minutes or 2.5 minutes, you cannot go to 100 devotees. So I know that you are going to go to just one person and randomly choosing. It is not even an ascending order or descending order. You are randomly choosing one person and going to that person. So the other person doesn't have to be offended that this person doesn't trust me. Okay? Your time starts now. Okay. How did it work? Was that useful? Who were you talking to, Prabhu? You should immediately seek forgiveness, Prabhu, from it. See, next time you will not get feedback. Isn't it? Yeah, if you actually do not respect the feedback that we have received, and we show disrespect towards it, the immediate reaction that you get is, probably the other person will not say anything now and in future as well. Right? So we should actually respect what we have, that someone was kind enough to be vulnerable and tell you your vulnerabilities. The person has to be vulnerable, thinking that if I actually mention this to him or her, will that be good, or will that backfire on me? So the person has taken that risk to share that feedback with you, and if you do not respect, then you are ruining it. That one or two great relationship and trustworthy relationship that you had, you have just killed that one or two relationships that you had. So please try to take care. Yes, Prabhu. Of course. Yeah. So what are some realizations from this exercise that we did? Yeah. Yeah. I did not seek any feedback because I am always right. Isn't it? Anyone disagrees? Tell me now. Isn't it? Yes, sir. how how happy she would be to hear this, Prabhu. Now when you go home. Okay, any other realizations? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So that is why that relationship has to be trustworthy. And even the husband-wife relationship as well, it is not by default trustworthy. You have to actually make that relationship trustworthy. So if we actually start giving feedback so that it will suit me, then you are actually breaking that trust relationship. Sooner or later, the other person is going to figure out, if feedback was given specifically so that it is advantageous to the other person. Okay. So is there any specific feedback which is shareable? You didn't even imagine that this is the case, and suddenly today, in just 5 minutes, you have realized, you have understood. You don't want to give feedback to anyone? Okay. Any others? Yeah. So we haven't even created one trustworthy relationship where we we can honestly take some feedback and then accept whatever they are telling, which is not a problem of others. It is the problem that is within our own heart. So yes, probably that's right. Anything anyone else wants to share that they came to know today, which they never knew? Yes, bro. You are afraid to take feedback? Oh, very good. That's an important point as well. Mm. What should we do in that case? Yeah. Finally, if there are some opposing opinions, one of the good thing is at least you have two opinions. Some people have no opinions. The good thing is you have two opinions, and you can seek clarification from both of them. Whoever has given you multiple like different feedbacks, then you can actually seek clarification from both of them to understand what is the context, or did you understand it wrongly, or did they understand the situation differently. You can clarify your intention or whatever. You are not giving justification, but you are clarifying your intention, and that way they may get more information about the situation, and they can give you some further clarifications and in your feedback. So that way you can utilize both of them. But of course, the one good thing is you can just take the feedback from the person you trust the most, or you think that they know you the most. But most of the time, what we do is, in such situations, we take the feedback which is more suitable to us. That we should avoid doing. Or sometimes we keep seeking feedback till the time we find a person who is giving you the feedback that you are looking for. So that also you should try to avoid. Right? Okay. Ready? Yeah, that's why I was saying that we are trying to be vulnerable by giving and exposing somebody else's vulnerabilities, because that relationship can get damaged anytime. That's why that trustworthy relationship has to be there. And for that, you have to actually deposit quite a lot over a period of time in that relationship so that you are able to withdraw a little bit sometimes. Anything else? Yes, sir. Correct. No, Prabhuji, this is the benefit. This is what we are saying, that the other person doesn't know what you are going through. The person who is giving you feedback doesn't know what you are going through. What is your intention, he doesn't know. And this is actually a benefit. Why? Because the other person that you are offending, somehow or the other, he or she also doesn't know that what you are going through. So because you are in that context, you are thinking that this is obvious that I am going through this, and this is why my reaction is like this. But the other person doesn't know. And that's why somebody else telling you that your action was wrong because of this, I feel. And then you think that, oh, I did this action because this was my intention, I was going through this. And then you can clarify to someone. I'll tell you a short story. This is many times it has been circulated here and there and whatever, so you may have already heard it. So there was this one person who goes to a restaurant, and on that particular day there is one waitress who's serving him, and she is actually serving really poorly. Something is happening, like when she took a long time to come to take the order. Even after giving the order, then the person had to repeat twice, "Hey, this is exactly what I wanted." And then even after that order came after a long time, she did not serve properly. So many mistakes, and this person was getting really irritated and decided that I'm not going to leave any tip for this waitress, and at the same time I'm going to complain before going. So just about when he has finished eating and he was just about to walk away, then at the same time he overhears this conversation which is happening on the next table, where these people on the next table, it seemed that they are the regulars at the restaurant, and they are talking about, oh, look at Sally, the waitress that they are talking about, that she's going to such a hard time. Her husband just died 5 days ago for a long time relationship, and her husband has passed away just 5 days ago. But she has 2 kids to take care of. So because of that, she has to still come here and work, even though she is in so much grief. And suddenly this person now immediately understands the entire context. Without that context, he was so offended that, oh, this waitress is so useless and she is not doing her job properly. And now suddenly this person has understood the context, and immediately he is thinking, wow, this person is going through so much and still she is trying to serve me here. And of course, because she has to look after her kids as well. So sooner or later she will improve, because she will come back to normal. She is in such a big shock currently. And because of that, now that you understand the context, immediately the picture changes in front of you. Right? So this is what actually is important to understand. And if you understand from someone that, oh, you are not behaving properly, and then you say that, oh, this is the context in which I was actually behaving. So you understand now that just like this person has misunderstood you, these other people who you have been talking to, they would have also misunderstood you. So you should actually open up and clarify your background, and that way that will help you and your relationships. Is that okay? Okay. So seeking feedback is very, very, very important like that. So devotees will tell you you should seek feedback from others. You can seek feedback from your family members, relatives, or the mentors, or the counselors, or the spouse, or any other trusted devotees in the community. But the most important and final thing is, Sudarshan Chakra will start chasing you. And that was the point which was being mentioned earlier. Like, how did Durvasa Muni knew that he has done something wrong? Did anyone tell him? No, right? It is not Ambarish Maharaj who said that, oh, you offended me. Or there was no third person. Actually, there were other ministers or whatever. But they did not say that, Durvasa Muni, you are offending Ambarish Maharaj. No. How did he come to know? Sudarshan Chakra suddenly appeared. And the heat of Sudarshan Chakra started burning him from the back. And he said, oh, what has happened? He started running. And he started running, the Sudarshan Chakra started chasing him. So similarly, when we do something wrong, this Paramatma in our heart, he is doing the Sudarshan Chakra effect. He is giving that Sudarshan Chakra effect. And the burning is not happening from the back, burning is happening from within. And it is immediately the consciousness is telling you that something wrong is you have done. Either you know yourself that you have made the mistake. Yesterday we were talking about that when you make mistake, you know that you have made a mistake. And that is why you are going to, just like in case of Durvasa Muni, he goes to Indra, Shiva, then Lord Brahma as well, and Krishna. Like that he goes, try to present their own situation. So similarly, you would know in your heart that you have done something wrong. So you are going and talking to everyone that, Prabhuji, do you know? Ambarish Maharaj did like this. And he's not a good person. I'll tell you why. He did like this. Did it happen to you as well? So this is how we try to actually gather support, gather sympathy, and then trying to prove that I am right. So because we know that you have done wrong, you're trying to get some backing and some support from outside to feel that you are right. But like even though you go to 100 different people and even 100 of those says that, no, Prabhu, you are such a wonderful devotee. I think that other person must be wrong. You know from within. And that guilt doesn't go till the time you correct that mistake. So this is very, very important that Sudarshan Chakra, when it is starting to chase you, you have to understand that something wrong has happened and you should try to correct. Sitaram Prabhu. Oh, you are still stuck on it. Yeah. So suppose one devotee A has offended devotee B, and devotee C is also there, and devotee C is senior, and C is actually seeing that A has offended B, but still C is not mentioning to A that, oh, you have offended. So what is the role of C? See, no one wants to give you feedback on their own. Just because you are a doctor and you are walking on the street and you see people having lots of problems, you don't go and immediately prescribe some different medicines to them, even though you are a doctor. And that means doctor is not wrong in that case. The reason is you have to at least seek for the medicine. So it is your responsibility. It is not C's problem. It is not B's problem to tell you. A has the responsibility. If he has done something wrong, he has to seek feedback. Just like the patient has the responsibility to go to the hospital, go to the doctor, go to the GP and say that I have this problem. Can you give me some medicine? Then the doctor will give you the medicine. So this is what we have to do. The seeking feedback is our responsibility. Very, very rarely, if the relationship is too deep and the relationship is so close, then it is possible that the C may on their own tell you that this is wrong. You should, I think you need to go and seek forgiveness from B. But in the normal relationships, it is A's responsibility to go and seek feedback. Only then they are going to get feedback. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Sitaramaya Prabhu, did you understand the question? No. See, Prabhuji, Krishna consciousness or anything in our life, if you want to progress, we should not be looking at what other person should do. We should be looking at what I should do. I was listening this lecture on this topic itself from Vraja Vihari Prabhu. And Vraja Vihari Prabhu, when he gives lectures, he is amazing. He actually gives so many different examples from life. Sometimes he quotes Shero Shairi. Sometimes he gives some funny stories and whatever. And that is how his lectures are very lively. And you actually feel very engaged and connected to his lectures. So, in this topic, when he was talking about, he said that आईना जब भी उठाया करो तो पहले खुद देखो फिर दिखाया करो. Aina means mirror. When you are actually taking in your hand, the first thing that you should do is see yourself before you actually show that mirror to someone else. So he is actually giving this example from the perspective that whenever we actually hear some topic on anything, we immediately start thinking, see, Prabhuji has been talking about this topic for so long, but still Kritivanta Prabhu doesn't understand. Why he doesn't do why he keeps doing like this? So what we have done, we have taken the mirror and the first before seeing, we have started showing it to Kritivanta Prabhu. Started turning to Shakti Mataji, to him, to her. And saying that, see, Prabhuji has already given the lecture, why don't you improve? But the main idea is that, आईना जब भी उठाया करो, तो पहले खुद देखो. So that lecture is not for others, lecture is for me. When I prepare this lecture, it is for my benefit that I prepare for it. What can I learn from listening to from this wonderful Vaishnavas? And when you hear the lecture, instead of thinking what she should do, what we should do, what we should think is what I should do. Right? And our responsibility is to seek feedback. If you are C, if A and B are talking and you are C, and then what you should do, if that is your problem, then that's a different matter. But we should not be thinking I am A or I am B, and C is just sitting there and not doing anything. C is doing wrong. No, our consciousness should be, Prabhuji has said, I should seek feedback. I should seek feedback, right? Now, point that Prabhuji is asking, Ram Mohan Prabhu, that what should C do? If I am C, if that is the situation, then that's a different question. If you are C and you are thinking that in front of me these two A and B are doing this, what should I do? It is a simple solution for that. It depends on the relationship. See, why the doctor is, when he is walking on the street and he sees that somebody is having some stomach ache, somebody is limping, what is the problem? He doesn't go immediately and say that, hey, what is the problem? Why are you limping? Here, I am a doctor. I can actually suggest you something. No, that doesn't work. Because the relationship is not there. Most of the cases, what will happen? This person will say, hey, who are you? I don't even know you. And who knows whether you are a good doctor or not? You will give me some medicine, and if something happens to me tomorrow, who should I go to? Isn't it? So that is why when the patient knows a doctor and he has a trust, then he goes to the doctor and he says, he knows that, oh, there is a certificate written. So I know that, and I have heard from my friend or a relative that I had some leg pain, and that's why I went to the doctor. And when he gave the medicine, it worked for me. So you have built some faith, built some trust on someone. So to that doctor you are going, and doctor, what first thing he tells? It's not in New Zealand, but generally if he is a good doctor, what they do? They will say, don't worry. I have seen many cases like this. I'll cure you. And that immediately actually creates even more faith. And then he gives you the medicine. And then that medicine has more effect. So this is why the relationship is very important. If C is senior, but doesn't have the best relationship with A or B, and if he or she tries to give feedback to A or B, that will not be well received, Prabhu. I know from my personal examples. That is why, even without seeking feedback, very rarely I give feedback to anyone. If you ask for feedback, definitely you will get it. Something, some positive thing I will tell you, and some points of improvement I will be able to tell you. But if you don't ask, you won't get it. Very rarely I will give to someone. Very rarely. That is because you need to seek and then you will get it. And when you seek and you get it, you have more effect because you have asked for it. It was not somebody is giving you unnecessarily. Say suppose when somebody is not well, at least 10 people will come. अरे प्रभु जी ये प्रॉब्लम है, वो मेरे चाचा भी ऐसे ही हुए थे, उन्होंने ये मेडिसिन लिया था, यू टेक इट, एंड ऐसा करके 10 मेडिसिन आ जाएंगे. And then which medicine you should take now? What should you do to actually get cured? But if you have gone to a specific person and you say that this is my problem and this is what the medicine now I have got, you will take that and that one medicine will cure you probably. So this is why seeking feedback is very important. It is our responsibility to seek feedback, and if you are C, then depending on the relationship that you would have with these other people, you may tell them on your like yourself, or you may wait for them to actually come to this point of progressing and then take feedback. Yes, Madhusudan. Sorry, before you go, Ram Mohan Prabhu, was that okay? Okay. Yes, bro. Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, very good point. And as Prabhuji has mentioned, the seeking feedback itself is a topic for one retreat. Okay. And we are covering this very briefly. And just as a passing out of, this is not even the main topic. We are just trying to figure out how do we know that we need forgiveness. And one of the point that we are mentioning is that if you have some trusting relationship already, just like your spouse, your relative, or some close friend, or some other devotee, then use that to seek feedback. Right? And that way, you have one more thing of knowing if you have offended someone. But of course, how to properly give and how to properly receive feedback, that itself can be a big topic. And there could be obstacles, as Prabhuji is mentioning, that we were talking about, the fear, anger, and all those other things, or so many things going on in your life. So many things are there. But unfortunately, we do not have time for going further on that feedback thing. Okay? Can we move on? It is 11:21. Last point I will take and I will move on, Prabhuji. No more feedback on feedback now. Come on. Prabhu, just a minute. Sitaramaya Prabhu, I think when somebody else is speaking, it is better to actually focus, and that way, see, I am actually, without asking, I am giving you feedback. You said, right? C doesn't give feedback. I am actually implementing immediately. I am saying that because you will not understand what is happening there, as well as Parmender Prabhu also will get distracted. He will also not understand the question that is going on. So, best to actually pay attention, and the other discussions can happen afterwards. Okay? Yes, sir. It's becoming very complicated. Hmm. Correct, correct. And that is why I was saying that C doesn't directly give feedback to A and B without knowing that the feedback will be well received or not. I know now Sitaramaya Prabhu is able to receive that, and that is why I am actually able to tell him, right? But not in all cases I will feel comfortable in telling, right? So that is why that relationship has to be stronger, and the stronger the relationship, and there are so many examples for that as well, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave feedback, other person and somebody did not give the chastisement, and they were feeling that, oh, I'm not close enough, and we have spoken earlier as well, right? So there are lots of wonderful aspects to the feedback topic. Let's move on. Let's move on from the feedback, please. Oh, please. One more. There are one more coming from here, one more coming from there, and one more behind as well. The challenge is I can go on. I get another feedback. I have to respect that feedback, isn't it? When lunchtime comes, there is no more other points will not work. Okay, I'll take those 3 points and move on. Yes, Mataji. You're fine? Okay, 2. Oh. Okay, listen. Shh. Yeah, actually, that's right. But you would notice that even Guru will not immediately give you feedback before building that full relationship as well. They may, it is their responsibility to give, but we have so much false ego, Prabhu, and we are practicing devotees. Even if when we have taken initiation, the Guru knows that there is some surrender that is there, but that is not full surrender. And if I actually poke too much on the false ego, it will not work. So that is why the Guru will also slowly try to take the devotee to Krishna consciousness. Because if some big feedback the Guru gives, that it should not happen, they are also aware that because of false ego, the person may even leave Krishna consciousness. So they are very careful. They are experts. They are careful. They understand how much feedback to give and how much feedback will be accepted. And then over a period of time, they will give the bigger and bigger doses. And you receive them, Prabhu. In your life, when you actually go closer and closer, you receive them for sure. And which is good. Then you understand how to improve. Yes, Mataji, we will take that last point and then shh. Okay, how frequently in the trusted relationship you should get feedback? This quite looks like a question is very popular. See, husband and wife relationship is quite different. It's quite unique from the perspective that, and especially in Kali Yuga, that the relationship, they are almost like equals to each other. In the Vedic tradition, there was a hierarchy in husband and wife. But in Kali Yuga, that hierarchy is almost gone. So, and most of the time when they start Krishna consciousness as well, husband and wife, they start together. Many cases, actually most of the cases. So from the Krishna consciousness perspective as well, they are hearing the same lectures, they are actually going through the same progress in spirituality that is going on. So in spiritually as well, they are equals. And anytime when we have equals, even not even husband and wife, even just the normal devotees in programs we are equals, when some relation, like some feedback is exchanged between them, there is always difficulty in receiving it. It is the most difficult part. For example, what is happening is, this is a very wonderful example I heard from, who did I hear it from? Because I have heard on this topic, one of the very wonderful devotees, surely, I think either is Brajavihari Prabhu or, oh no, it must be Radhika Raman Prabhu. Okay, one of them. So, what they said, that we are like the stones, the pointed stones. And what is happening is, everyone has their points. And all of these pointed stones are put into a cloth bag. And what is happening is, every time we shake this bag, these pointed, the corners are hurting each other. But the good thing is, more we do this shaking, more smoothened we become. And over a period of time, like many years, while we keep shaking this bag, and every time the bag is shaken, unfortunately the corners are are rubbing with each other. But the good thing is, they are also getting smoothened. And over a period of time, we will become like a smooth pebbles. So this is the problem. While the points are still there, we are hurting each other. But also the effect is that we are also getting our smoothened our edges. So this is what is required. So in husband and wife relationship, what is happening is, those edges are coming together with each other every 5 minutes, every 1 hour or whatever. But the also good thing is, if you take it properly, we are also smoothening our edges. And we are becoming a wonderful edge. Yeah. And then that is how we are becoming like a smooth pebble over a period of time. So everything that is there in our life, we can use as an opportunity to improve, or we can see that as a problem. The Srimad Bhagavatam actually shows everything, like in almost all the situations, that the people who take that as a problem, they will not progress. But those who see opportunity in that problem will progress further. So if you are getting a feedback in every 1 hour, you can take it as a great opportunity. It is difficult, I know. But I am thinking that maybe trying to change our perspective little bit will help. Even though if you have received feedback like every 1 hour, at the end of the day, maybe you can just review and think, like, what was the most important feedback that I received today? And just take one thing. And then using that one point, you can try to improve. See, it is again, all the processes are on about us. What can I do? So if you are getting various different things that we can improve, take it. Okay. Alright. I am moving away from this feedback. It's a good feedback to me that never mention about feedback. Otherwise, 1 whole hour will go on that feedback. Okay, now in 1 last hour, I have to do so many things. I don't know how they are going to happen. Okay. Let's move on. So what are the obstacles? I am going to go fast now on these. Obstacles we have already seen. They are mainly in 3 categories. One is pride, because of false ego or pride that we are not ready to seek feedback. Because of anger, there is some anger or whatever that is there. And also, anger is also on the other side as well, that when we are not ready to forgive, that is the main obstacle that we have. That we are very angry, we have hatred or whatever. And also fear. And fear in this case, as we were discussing yesterday, that there is a fear that we have in our heart, that if I go and seek feedback, or I make myself humble and fall at somebody's feet, will the other person trample me further? Or dismiss my feedback? Or not feedback. See, feedback is so in my head now. Dismiss my apology. And that will make it even more difficult. Because it is so hard to become humble. Isn't it? We all are so proud and we have so much false ego. It becomes so difficult to come to the stage of humility and then go to someone and seek feedback from them. Sorry. Seek apology, forgiveness from them. And once you have actually taken that step to go and seek forgiveness, if the other person just dismisses you, that is so heartbreaking. You will think that, oh my God, how will I recover from here? I am now insulted so much. You feel insulted so much. Right? So there are many obstacles which are there. So now coming to some general principles, and then we will go to quickly on what are the important steps in seeking feedback. Seeking forgiveness. I'm stuck on that feedback now. Okay, seeking forgiveness, the general principles. First of all, it is not quantifiable. We cannot say that my mistake was so small. So that is why the apology that I give also will be small. No, your mistake may be so small, but the offense which has got created in somebody else's heart may not be small. Because we actually come from different background, and different backgrounds create different places where we have these poking points which have got created, and other people don't know what has happened in the past or whatever, and because of that this small wound which has got created somewhere, and suppose you actually make a small poke on that wound, it becomes big pain on that other person's heart. And you are thinking, "Arey, thoda sa to hath lagaya tha. I just touched you like this. I just said one sentence to you. Why are you overreacting?" No, the problem is you said one sentence, but that poking happened on the hurt already was there. And that has created like a big hurt in their heart. So, we cannot say that I did this one mistake, small mistake, so the forgiveness will also be small. No, it cannot be quantifiable. So, when we start going into this analysis mode, that this quantity of offense and this quantity of forgiveness, you will miss the point of forgiveness. You will not be forgiven in that case. Okay, that is one. The second important thing to understand, that it's a process, it takes time. You may actually break something quickly in 1 second, but now if you want to build it again, it is not in 1 second you can build it. It takes a while for building the thing again. So similarly, even though it was one sentence that has caused the offense, it is not that it in another 2 seconds you will be asking for apology and it will be again back to normal. It may take long time before the person forgives you properly. So understand that it's a process. You seek forgiveness. Maybe after some time you have already asked for forgiveness. Second time you can also again say that, Prabhuji, I hope everything in your heart is already removed now. I know I was insensitive when I said something like this, and I'm really regretting it now as well. And at that point, the second apology will register more, because the person as well who has heard that apology first time, he has understood that you are apologetic. More time has passed. The hurt has little bit reduced. And now again you are asking, and they understand that, oh, this person is still apologetic. He's still seeking forgiveness, and that may actually solve that relationship problem. Okay? Yeah, it is not quantifiable. Is the offense offense and apology both cannot be, forgiveness cannot be they cannot be quantified. That my offense was this much, that's why the seeking forgiveness will be only this much. So both are put there, and it is a process. Forgiveness is a process. Seeking forgiveness as well as forgiving is also a process. It takes time. But sooner we start, better it is. We should not think that, let the time heal this thing. And after 1 month, I will seek for this problem that I have caused. No, that 1 month will ruin everything. Because every day you do not seek for forgiveness, what is happening is the other person is thinking, एक दिन हो गया, 2 दिन हो गए, 3 दिन हो गए, and this person is not still realizing his problem and mistake and is still continuing. The anger will increase. The hurt will also increase. So, the sooner we start, better it is. Now, how to seek forgiveness? This is the practical steps that we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, sir. Time will heal everything. That is true if we have taken steps and then let the time heal it. Only then we can say that the time will heal everything. It is not that you haven't done anything and you are expecting that the time will take care of all the healing process. It doesn't work like that. Yes. Offenses. Yeah. Okay. So, let's start here. How to seek forgiveness. Now, this is based on all the places where in Srimad Bhagavatam someone has gone and asked for some forgiveness. Though the situations are different, you would see that the first thing that the person seeking forgiveness does is not actually go and say sorry. First thing that they do is they appreciate the other person. And that appreciation should be genuine appreciation. So what are they doing by appreciating is they are preparing the ground by appreciating the devotee. Otherwise, if you just go and say sorry, it is possible that your apology may be just rejected as thinking that, oh, you are not even genuine. So it will be immediately possibly rejected. So to avoid that, you should first prepare the ground. And how the appreciation should be? It should be specific and genuine. So you should not be like when you are appreciating, it is so hard to appreciate. Why? Because we are not even noticing the goodness in others. So this is the main challenge that we have. And the other challenge that we have is 10 good things, even if we actually see, one of them we will speak. But one bad thing we see, immediately we speak. It should be the other way around. One good thing we see, we immediately speak. 10 bad things we see, maybe we can speak of one. See, one simple example I'll give. Mantramulam Prabhu. Mantramulam Prabhu, if you would have noticed how wonderfully and carefully he does his services. Now, just about the service of the deities, he will actually have, I'm sure, 100% sure, he will have a checklist for everything. That what to bring when he has been actually given the service for this deities here. And his detailed services, he will not even forget the mat which is required for standing when you are performing Aarti. Everything he will bring. Now, you see the Abhishek that we actually do for all the festivals. We all go there, everything is ready. Our job is to only take that pot or the conch and we very nicely, happily do the Abhishek and come pay obeisances and come. But have you taken the effort any time, like so many Abhisheks you have actually attended, have you taken the effort to go and thank Mantramulam Prabhu and Srinivasa Mataji? How many of you have done that? They are the one, thank you Prabhuji, Surananda Prabhu. They are the one because of whom, because of their meticulous planning, we have received the opportunity to go and do Abhishek there. Right? So this is called genuine and specific appreciation. I have just given you example. That when you are going and say that, oh Mantramulam Prabhu, you are a nice devotee. Okay. How do I know whether you are genuinely saying this? Like, what is it that because of which you are feeling that I am a nice devotee? No, if you say that Prabhu, I have observed that For the deity related services that you have, you are so meticulous. All the arti plate is always there properly. The ghee wicks are there. Agarbatti is there. Chamar is there. Ghanti is there. This is there. Like the mat for standing and doing arti. The cloth, the backdrop, everything is there. Now in this particular situation yesterday, because the place was itself different, everything that they had organized, like the cloth and everything, that became smaller. That's why we had to use some dhotis, new dhotis. But they had planned everything. So this is what if we actually appreciate and observe and appreciate, they will feel that yes, my service is getting noticed by someone. And they will feel really appreciated. Isn't it? Right? So this is what we should, the other example I actually I showed yesterday. When I was appreciating Santosh Prabhu, I did not just say that Santosh Prabhu is a wonderful devotee. I specifically mentioned why I am appreciating him. And that is why that will actually immediately understood that yes, this is a genuine and specific appreciation that I have received. Okay. So I am giving you an activity now. What is going to come? Please take this opportunity to appreciate at least one devotee in the room. Be genuine and specific. You have only 2 minutes and your time starts now. No. You have to go and you have to appreciate, at least go and find one person and appreciate. You don't have to you don't have to choose your neighbor. Just choose anyone. I am going to set my timer again. Hare Krishna. Any realizations from this exercise? Actually, we have 24/7 available for appreciation. These are not the 2 or 2 minutes which we should be using. We should be using the entire life for appreciating. Yes. That's the problem. That's the problem, of course. Any other realizations from this exercise? Yes. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yes. That should not be our mood. But, and we should not be even giving appreciation just for putting something in the bank. It automatically happens. It is part of what our keen observation of a particular service. And that is why many devotees actually say when they are giving lecture, before becoming Krishna conscious, first try to become conscious. We are not even conscious of what is happening around us. We are not even observing what kind of services we are automatically receiving by default. And over a period of time, even sometimes, maybe in the beginning we are conscious, but over a period of time, we become unconscious of those services. We start taking them for granted. So, very rarely somebody says that, oh, such a beautiful dal that is there. Isn't it, Prabhu? So, this is important. So, even when, like in the husband-wife relationship that we were talking about, even if it is 20 years you are married, the appreciation of the prasadam that is in your plate still works. And if you are genuinely saying that, instead of saying that, oh, today it is nice. What is nice? What specific item you liked? Why you liked it? You can say that, oh, today this sabji you have made is having a different flavor. Did you try something else? It is very nice. And automatically then the person is thinking that, oh yeah, it has been observed. And my service of doing this is worthwhile. And that actually works. You can actually ask Anang Manjari how many times I appreciate her about her prasadam. She cooks really good. But even in all situations, you can actually always appreciate. You will find something and give specific and genuine feedback. Appreciation. No, very rarely. Because she is busy there. I know. Of course, yes, very good. You don't feel neglected and you feel motivated. You can imagine a community where each and every service is being done. It is not that we are expecting appreciation for it. That should never be the case. But the other devotees are actually appreciating it. And Krishna, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this key. What is the verse? Trinadapi sunichena taroropi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So about the respect and appreciation, it is amanina manadena. Amanina means never expect respect. And manadena means always give respect. So in the appreciation situation, never expect appreciation, but always give appreciation to others. And you would see that not expecting respect or not expecting appreciation is very, very difficult. But the manadena part is much more easier than manadena part. To start with, for practicing devotees, you will not be at the level where you are not expecting anything. You are not at the level of not expecting appreciation or respect. But you can immediately start practicing manadena. That is much more easier. It is still difficult, as you can see. Like hardly anyone appreciates others or notices even. So if we start noticing and if we start appreciating, that is much easier. Manadena part is much easier. So let's start doing it. And this also helps in our apology, seeking forgiveness. So we saw that the first point was that genuine appreciation. That is the preparation ground that we are doing. The second step is recognizing our mistake. So when Indra goes and asks for forgiveness, first thing he has done, he has glorified Krishna. Then he is recognizing his mistake. And recognizing his mistake has 4 parts to it. How to recognize our mistake? First thing that we have to do is make a specific statement that what we did wrong. So suppose I go and say sorry to Shiva Prabhu. And something has happened yesterday and that is why I am saying sorry to him today. But Shiva Prabhu may be thinking in his mind, do you really know what you have done? You are saying sorry to me, but do you really know what you have done? Are you saying sorry to me because you are thinking that you did this specific thing because of which he is feeling hurt? Or is he seeking forgiveness because I went little bit overboard or whatever or overreacted? What exactly he is asking for forgiveness? What was the exact thing? And you will see that in this apology, Indra specifically says that I called this Samvartaka cloud, I tried to kill all the Brajavasis and you, and because I thought, and Brahmaji, when he is asking for apology, he also clearly says, I did not realize that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is why I stole your the coward boys. And that is, so he is specifically making a statement of what was the wrong that they have done. This is the first step. The second is apologize without attaching any conditions. Most of the time our apologies are, we are giving, but at the same time we say, Prabhuji, I am really sorry that yesterday I did this. But you also very overreacted, Prabhu. So we are just inserting with our apology to help our false ego. We are saying that I have some blame, but you should also realize, Prabhuji, that you also had some blame, part of the blame. So that kind of apology will never work. Because then you are not showing the genuine remorse or genuine apology. You are saying that, Prabhu, that the other person, how they look at it. They look at it that this person is actually seeking forgiveness, but instead of seeking forgiveness, he is pointing my mistakes. So yesterday he hurt me with what he did, and now instead of seeking forgiveness, he is trying to tell me what are the further mistakes that I have done. So you feel more offended. So this is the problem, is in attaching a but to your apology. You will never see in the apologies in Srimad Bhagavatam that there are these buts added. That sorry but, no. Apology, give without attaching any conditions. This is very important. So there are many such situations. Like one was, I'm sorry, but you overreacted. Second way could be that, Prabhuji, I'm really sorry. But you remember yesterday or day before yesterday, you said the same thing to me as well, Prabhuji. So we are actually trying to say that I have done the mistake, but you have also done the mistake previously. So actually we are even. Like one of the obstacle was there, right? One of the point that came that day, yesterday, that I did A and you did B and both are now cancelling each other. So we are just trying to find some adding some caveats and this and that, so that to satisfy our false ego. Yes, Aparna Mataji. Yeah, very good point. And we are going to specifically talk about this situation where the problems are really on both ends. Okay, can you just hold on for some time and I will cover that point. So apologize without attaching any condition. That is the second thing when you are recognizing our mistake. The third thing that we can do is clarify about our intention. So we should not be attaching but that you have also done this. Only thing that you are allowed to clarify if you think that the other person hasn't understood the intention that you are in. So many of those examples that we were talking about, where people are saying that, oh, people don't understand my frame of mind or what was happening with me, and that is why they would have misunderstood me. Yes, they have misunderstood. So you can clarify your intention. So coming to this example of Chitraketu that we were talking about yesterday. So Chitraketu has now offended Mother Parvati, and Mother Parvati has cursed him to become a demon, and the demon is, who is the demon? That Vritrasur. So Chitraketu becomes Vritrasur in his next life. So at that time though, when Chitraketu has heard this curse from Mother Parvati, what he does? He goes and seeks forgiveness from Mother Parvati. He says to her that I am accepting your curse to please you. The intention that I had though was this, that I did not want anyone to misunderstand this exalted devotee like, exalted Vaishnava like Lord Shiva. This is the reason why I spoke what I spoke. But now because of what has happened, is that has definitely, because of my particular action, you have got offended. So, you be pleased and I'll accept this curse. Okay. So, intention has been clarified. So, this is what we can do. That I'm really sorry, Prabhuji or Mataji, that the way that I spoke yesterday, that has offended you. And of course, you have done the first part, the appreciation part you have done. The ground has been created. You have specifically said that the statement that I said yesterday was, it looks like it has hurt you a lot, and you have apologized without attaching any condition. You are saying sorry, and then you can clarify the intention. Yesterday, Prabhuji, my frame of mind was really not well. I was in quite a lot of distress because of this thing has happened, and because my frame of mind was not right, somehow or the other, I actually said something like this. Or the intention could be, you are saying that actually I said something in the meeting and I realized afterwards that you may have actually misunderstood it, and you would have felt hurt because of this. What actually I was trying to say is this. I hope this clarifies, but you can always continue with that unconditional apology. Okay, because the other person has got hurt, whatever your situation. So clarify the intention and suggest a remedy for the mistake that you have caused. Suggest something that you can offer. And in many cases, you would know what the other person is expecting you to do. Or the other person may actually mention, clarify that you do this. So you just accept that and try to do it. Or you can offer it yourself. You can say that I have offended, this has happened and whatever. Will it be okay, Prabhuji, if I serve you in a particular way? For example, I can actually help you in your service. And that way, you are actually offering some remedy. And actually, it is a practical step that you are taking to also rebuild that relationship again. Because anyone will be pleased. See, he or she has become hurt. And the opposite thing is, we have to somehow or the other make them happy. How we can make them happy is actually if you help them in their service and that actually boosts the service properly, then they will be actually happy. So we are actually recommending a remedy. And they will say that no, that is not required. But if you are really keen, then you can do this. Something like that can be suggested. So, suggest a remedy for the mistake. And there are many examples, but we will not go there. I have 25 minutes and I have to still do few more things which are more interesting coming. Yes, Prabhuji. No. So don't remind them of all the good things that you have done and use them to cancel the. Yeah, but I think we can always say that I really love and care you. If they specifically ask for a particular point, then you can mention, but there is you shouldn't be doing it. Actually, in tomorrow, if I have time, just remind me the incident from Mahabharata and about Arjun and Yudhishthir. Arjun, Yudhishthir and Krishna. If I have time, I will tell you some interesting story about it. But let's continue on this topic today. So there are some interesting stories I heard recently when I went to India. Any senior devotee I met, I asked them, Prabhuji, can you tell me about forgiveness? Some real practical things which have happened in the life. And I heard so many interesting stories from various different devotees. It was quite interesting to speak to so many wonderful devotees and talk to them about forgiveness. And you can actually hear so many different aspects that how the devotees look at a particular pastime in a Srimad Bhagavatam, or just the first thing that comes to their mind, or some practical things that they have had that has happened in their life that they mention. So one of the devotees was mentioning to me that this particular Maharaj, he actually went to Sakshi Gopal temple, which is on the way to Jagannath Puri. There is a Sakshi Gopal temple. And there is an elaborate pastime of Sakshi Gopal, which is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is not a lot of time available to mention that pastime. So if you haven't heard, go and search for Sakshi Gopal story from Chaitanya Charitamrita and you will get to read and hear that story. So this particular Maharaj, he was mentioning that twice I went to Sakshi Gopal temple to take darshan. But somehow or the other, it used to happen that I will never get the darshan of Sakshi Gopal. So I started wondering why this is happening. And somehow or the other, my heart, like that Sudarshan Chakra which is there in the heart, that I realized that even though it is mentioned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in Chaitanya Charitamrita, somehow or the other I don't trust that story completely. I don't really think that this deity has walked, that this deity has talked. And what it means that I don't have faith not only on Sakshi Gopal but also on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I am actually in the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If I do not have this faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how will I progress? And that is the reason probably Sakshi Gopal is not giving me the darshan. And the remedy he thought about himself is, which is a common remedy sometimes Vaishnavas take. They actually admit of their mistake in Vaishnava assembly. And they say, and this Maharaj has decided that I have to actually admit my mistake. And he is a sannyasi, and he actually spoke about his mistake in front of all the devotees, like even some young devotees and some new devotees, neophyte devotees sitting in front of him. And he mentioned that this is probably the reason why I think, and I have actually now consciously making and admitting my mistake and repenting for it. And interestingly enough, the next time he got darshan of Sakshi Gopal, he went to the temple and Sakshi Gopal gave him darshan. So this is quite interesting story that I heard, and there are of course many other interesting stories that I heard. We will, when we get time, we will talk about it. So, but the third step, so first step was genuine and specific appreciation that we have to give. Second is we have to recognize our mistake, and there are 4 steps in it. First is we have to specifically mention what wrong we have done. Second, we have to apologize unconditionally without attaching some buts and ifs and whatever. Someone was apologizing to me. It was quite an interesting apology. I am really sorry, Prabhuji. No, if you have felt offended, I am really sorry. Means only if you are not even realizing your mistake. This is what is going on in my mind, okay? So you are not even realizing your mistake. You are saying that if I am offended, that means the blame is on me. I was okay, but because of that you have got offended, and if you have offended, I am sorry. Can you accept such apologies? You should. We will learn that tomorrow. But this is what actually what goes on your mind when somebody says like this. So apologize without attaching any conditions. Clarify the intentions just in case if it is required, and then suggest a remedy for the mistake that you have done. Now the third step and the final step that is there for seeking forgiveness is feeling genuine remorse. And this is different from the second step. Second step is when you are speaking the apology you are offering to the other person. At that time the speaking part is finished. This part is more what is happening in your heart. So genuine remorse has to be there in your heart. If the remorse is not there, the same mistake will happen again. Because there are many things which actually goes on in your mind. If the first step and second step has been properly done, but the remorse step hasn't happened, and within yourself you are thinking, yes, I made a mistake, but I was really stressed out at that time. That's why I made a mistake. So that's not a genuine remorse. You are not feeling, you are just thinking that because I was stressed out, this has happened. Or you may say, I made a mistake, but actually really they provoked me. Again, there is no remorse. Or worst thing is, you can say, I made a mistake, but really they were asking for it. Why? See, look at the way that they behave with other people. So many times they have offended others. It was their turn now to get the reaction. Someone was saying, right, that it is their own karma. See, that's their karma. That shows no remorse. What will happen in those kind of situations where you are not feeling remorse within your heart? So though you have followed the step-by-step thing, just on the surface, but there is no remorse that is going on, your heart is not feeling that something wrong you have done, then the same situation will come again in your life. Similar situation, but with different characters. Sometimes they make the same movie with the same story, but the actors are different. I think the Spider-Man movie has been made multiple times, right? At least 3, 4, 5, 10 times they make. Same story, but Spider-Man is different. Spider-Man's girlfriend is different. His friend is different. Villain is something like that. That will they do and just keep bringing it. So same thing will happen in your life as well. Situation will be similar. Actors are different. And you are thinking, Arey, it is keep on happening. Once, when you actually learn this, that this is happening again and again in your life, Krishna is trying to give you some signal. Krishna is saying, Arey, ek baar ho gaya, do baar ho gaya, teen baar ho gaya. But you are still not learning from it. That is why I have to give you this test again. Unless and until you pass this test, you are not going to go to the next standard. Like if you are in the 9th standard and you sit for an exam and you fail, what happens? You are again in the same standard and again you have to appear for the exam for 9th standard only. Again, suppose you fail. Again, 3rd year as well, you are in the 9th standard. You are appearing for 9th standard exam only. Some questions will change little bit here and there, but you are still appearing for the 9th standard exam. Unless and until you pass, you will not go to the 10th standard and you will not get the higher exam. So if you keep seeing that something is happening in your life again and again and again and again and again, that means something is wrong in your response. So analyze the response, seek some help somewhere, that what is going wrong, why I'm getting the same situation again and again in my life. So please help me. And then you will find that, oh, some step is missing, something is wrong. And then you will be able to, probably next time you will be able to pass that exam and go to the next standard. Alright. So, this is it. 3 steps. Genuine remorse. Then second one. So first one was genuine appreciation. Second, recognizing our mistake, which has multiple steps. And third is the third, genuine remorse that you should feel in your heart. And the remorse in your heart is like fire. And that fire will burn this anarthas that we have in our heart. So that is how we get rid of it. Someone was raising hand? Yes, sir. Yeah. Once you have understood either this way or that way or whatever, that you have offended someone, you can always go and talk to the person that you have offended and seek feedback directly from them, that what has happened that has made this relationship go like not as strong as it should be, and you can seek general apology first, saying that it must be my fault, that I have made something wrong. You take the humble position. It must be something from my side that I have done something wrong, and that is why this relationship is not becoming as strong as it should be. So, can you please help me understanding where I should improve? And that way, the things can work out. And sometimes, even after that as well, if the relationship is not becoming stronger, at least you have tried. Okay. And sometimes the people may not open up or whatever, or the hurt is too deep. If it is like so big thing, generally you will know. But if there are some small things which are happened and is still not working out, at least you have to be careful next time in other relationships when we are speaking. Right? Okay, what about my fear? Like, not all the problems we have still addressed about seeking apology. We haven't yet talked about how should I overcome my fear. If I have the fear that I go and seek apology and the other person may trample me, and then I will be even worse off before asking for apology. Right? So what Srimad Bhagavatam shows in multiple situations, that when you are thinking that I have done really grave offense and the other person is really angry, if I go and ask for forgiveness, the other person is going to blast me off. What you do? No, not hide. you seek help of a mediator who is trusted by both parties. Who did Indra go to? Surabhi cow. He knows that Krishna loves cows. So, if I take cow and hide behind the cow, I will be safe. Because that is the worst offense anyone can do, what Indra has done. It is not about trying to kill Krishna himself. That is also a big offense. But all the devotees of Krishna in Vrindavan, who are the most dear to Krishna, they are the purest of the devotees. And those devotees, he is trying to kill all of them together. Worst thing he can do. So he knows that he has done a big offense. What he tried to do then? Go to Surabhi. He knows that Surabhi will help me. And at the same time, he knows that Krishna also trusts Surabhi. If she mediates in this, in between me and Krishna, I will be safe. This is what also we can do. There are many such situations you would see in Srimad Bhagavatam where they are seeking for someone else's help. For example, even Lord Shiva and Daksha's case, Brahma actually mediated afterwards. Even Dhruva Maharaj and Yaksha's case that we were talking about yesterday, where Dhruva Maharaj was trying to kill all the Yakshas. Instead of one Yaksha who killed his brother Uttama, now he is trying to, as a revenge, he was trying to kill everyone. So who came in between? No? Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu came and he said that, okay, shant ho jao. One person has committed mistake, you cannot kill everyone. That is not right. So, some mediation happened like that. So, this is how, what we can do is, if you are thinking that you may not, either you have done a grave offense, that's why the other person is very angry, or you are not very sure, or you are very fearful, even if it is a small offense, and you are very fearful that how the other person will react, you can go and seek a mediator who is trusted by both parties. And the mediator has two duties. The first is, the person who is apologizing, the mediator makes sure that the apology is unconditional, genuine, and proper apology. It is not that you are hiding behind me and then you are giving all the ifs and buts and whatever, and that is not the proper apology that you are offering. So, the person who is seeking apology, the responsibility, the mediator makes sure that he is seeking the proper apology. And from the person who should forgive, from their perspective, the mediator makes sure that the other person, the anger or whatever that is there, hatred in the person's heart, doesn't get blasted on this person who is seeking forgiveness. So, they offer protection both to forgiver and the person who is seeking forgiveness. And this is a very important role that the mediator performs. Okay. What if we are not forgiven? Yes. That's mediator will organize. Mediator will actually, if you are genuinely, because the person is really trusted by both sides, so the initiation that will happen is from the person who is seeking forgiveness. He is initiating the process, and then the mediator will organize the situation where they can actually both come and talk to each other. Okay. So what if you have done everything, you have shown remorse, you have appreciated, you have asked like a specific apology you have given, and the third, you have actually have this genuine remorse as well. But at the end of it, you are still not forgiven. What to do? So the thing is, Krishna's plan, yes. Good. But thing is, we have to understand that it's a process, it takes time. Over a period of time, as I said, you seek forgiveness as soon as possible. Let some time pass. Provide some service or whatever that as part of the second step that we saw, that provide some service, try to build that relationship. Over a period of time, again you can offer some apology, and that way the time has now healed people, both sides, and the apology may be accepted properly. Tomorrow we'll see there are obstacles as well on the other side of forgiving. So it is not only you are fearful, but the other person is also suffering. And they are also having their obstacles why they don't want to forgive. So we can understand from their perspective as well. And have a second round of conversation as I mentioned. Now what if the mistake was done on both sides that we were talking about? That what to do in that case? So the classic example is the Parikshit Maharaj and Shringi example that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. That of course Parikshit Maharaj was thirsty, he was hungry, and he went to Shramik Rishi's ashram. In that really thirsty and hungry condition. And he was asking for just some water. But Shramik Rishi was actually sitting there meditating. And he did not even understand that Parikshit Maharaj is here. But what happened? Parikshit Maharaj made up his own story in his mind. Parikshit Maharaj started making his own story, saying that must be because I am a Kshatriya, he is a Brahmana, he is thinking he is superior to me and he doesn't want to provide service to me. And that is why he is ignoring me. So in that anger, then he started leaving the ashram and he just saw one dead snake and he said that, oh, you are not receiving me well, let me offer you a garland of a dead snake. And he just offers a dead snake around his neck and he walks out. Then what happens? His son, Shramik Rishi's son Shringi, he was playing around and then when he comes home, he sees that there is this garland, dead snake garlanded to his father. And he is very angry. He has seen Parikshit Maharaj coming and going from the house. So he understands that must be Parikshit Maharaj who has done this. And he makes up his own story. He makes up his own story thinking that we are Brahmanas. We are much superior than the Kshatriyas. And how come this dog who is supposed to be kept, now see, Srimad Bhagavatam is saying the dog should be kept outside the house. The dogs who are supposed to be kept outside the house is now wanting to come inside the house and dine and drink water with the masters. So he is referring to Parikshit Maharaj. He is saying that he is a dog who should be kept out and how dare he come inside and thinking that he can actually eat and drink with us. And what more, he has now insulted my father. So what he does, he says, okay, I'll show him the power. Parikshit is thinking this king, he is thinking that Lord Krishna, our savior, is now gone from here. And that's why he is thinking he can do anything. I will protect the dharma on Lord Krishna's behalf. How I will do? I am cursing this king to die in 7 days. This snake bird will come, Takshak, and bite Parikshit and he will die. Now, after that, when Shramik Rishi comes to his senses, because after this curse is pronounced, Shringi starts crying. Now, Acharyas explain why he starts crying. It is very simple. Whenever a child makes a mistake, the child understands that they have made a mistake. What do? They start crying. And you wonder, first of all you did the mistake, now you are crying yourself. It is because that is the response, default response the children has. When they understand the mistake or whatever, they will start crying. So Shringi understands that he has made a big mistake. Parikshit Maharaj is not an ordinary king. He is the ruler of the entire world. He is a wonderful king. He is a topmost Vaishnava and he had just cursed to this wonderful king to die in 7 days. He knows that when Shramik Rishi is going to come to senses, he is going to chastise me, his father. So he starts crying. Shramik Rishi comes back from his samadhi and then he realizes that, this snake is there. He just doesn't pay any attention. He just removes and throws the snake. He doesn't give any importance to it. And then he asks, what happened? Why are you crying? So Shringi mentions, this happened, I have cursed and this. And Shramik Rishi is very embarrassed. how did I actually train my son in this way that he did not even understand what to do in such situation? Even if Parikshit Maharaj was not like an ordinary person, how can a small offense like this small insult that they have done can result into killing him? That even doesn't make sense for an ordinary person. What to speak of a great Vaishnava like Parikshit Maharaj? So what he does, he sends a message to Parikshit Maharaj saying that this curse has been done, and he actually writes an very apologetic letter to Parikshit Maharaj and sends one of his disciples to Parikshit Maharaj to mention to him. His name is Guru Mukha Gauramukha. And that devotee goes and mentions to Parikshit Maharaj that this has happened, you are going to die in 7 days. So Parikshit Maharaj is, anyway, as soon as he had gone out, Parikshit Maharaj was already remorseful. So his remorse was that, oh, maybe I actually thought wrong. Maybe he was really in samadhi and that's why he could not understand what I was saying to him. And actually, as soon as possible, I should get the reaction of this. I should get the punishment so that the punishment, like to set the right example as well, that I have done something wrong, I get punishment. Also, I don't want anyone else to suffer because of... It's 12:30. Anybody else should not suffer because of my offenses. So, he is already remorseful. So, his mistake on his side, he has understood. Shringi has understood the mistake on his side immediately, that's why he was crying. Shramik Rishi also understood the mistake on his side, that he did not raise his child well and he couldn't actually reverse the curse. So, everyone in this situation is remorseful. Mm-hmm. No, it's a good question. So, because he was embarrassed, what was Parikshit Maharaj's reaction because of that? So, you would see that in that pastime, it's quite interesting that Parikshit Maharaj never goes back to Shramik Rishi after he has understood his mistake. He doesn't go back to Shramik Rishi and ask for apology and forgiveness. Why? No, he has accepted the curse, but still he doesn't go in the 7 days he had. Maybe one day he should have spent and going and asking for forgiveness, but he doesn't. Why? Acharya has explained that in that particular situation, he sees that the letter that Shramik Rishi had sent, that was so apologetic. And if in that situation, if Parikshit Maharaj goes and further asks for apology, he knows that Shramik Rishi will be even further embarrassed. And he will probably fall at the feet of Parikshit Maharaj to say that you are such a exalted Vaishnava, but this is a mistake my son has done, please forgive me. So to avoid that further embarrassment, he says that I have already seen this, I have already accepted the curse. So he just says that I am going to give up everything, I will accept the curse and 7 days I will just hear Krishna Katha. So that was the response that Parikshit Maharaj took. So we can see that in this particular situation, all three has accepted their mistakes. But if the situation is like this, where like this, in our situation we were talking about the two devotees have both made some mistake, what should we do? So Srimad Bhagavatam is actually trying to tell us that even if both are at mistake, the person who is seeking forgiveness is going to get benefited immensely. Because the guilt which is there in their heart and the problem that they are going to face, the reactions which were there, everything is gone from their end because they have taken the step to go and seek forgiveness. And their relationship will be improved. So, if there are multiple, people who are in wrong, and if there is only one person who can ask for forgiveness, so that person should be us. Because it is going to benefit us. And when the one person is seeking forgiveness, don't expect that the other person, when you are actually gone for seeking forgiveness, they will realize their mistake and they will also apologize to you. No. Just if you are at that level of able to actually go and seek forgiveness, you are going to get immensely benefited. You go and follow the steps and seek forgiveness for your offenses. Don't worry about whether the person is asking for forgiveness for their offenses or not. At least you are cleared of your offense. You are getting benefited. Isn't it? So you don't worry about other people, what offenses they have done towards you. You have done something, you clarify yourself. Right? So, though I have gone over, I'm going to take 2 scenarios and give you 5 minutes. Can I take questions later? Because this will actually give you some practical experience of seeking forgiveness. So, what you are going to do here, I'm going to give you a scenario. On the screen it is going to come. With your neighbor. Okay, come on, fast, Maharaj. Fast. Oh yes, that is tomorrow. Because forgiving is topic for tomorrow. That question is related to forgiving, not seeking forgiveness. That is coming tomorrow as well. That is again part of the forgiving part. Right? Okay. So, with your neighbor, I am going to give you a scenario. And those 2 people you have to actually enact. It is a small skit between the 2 people. Right? And with your neighbor, you can actually do this. And first scenario is this. Radhika Mataji is Suruchi Mataji's mentor and has brought her in Krishna consciousness few years ago. Suruchi Mataji receives a lot of care from Radhika Mataji, but still she feels that Radhika Mataji loves and cares other Matajis more than her. She is upset and has started gossiping about Radhika Mataji recently. Radhika Mataji has heard about it from various devotees. Yesterday, Suruchi spoke to Suniti Mataji about Radhika Mataji. Another friend. Suruchi has another devotee called Suniti Mataji there. So Suniti Mataji is sensible and pointed out various past incidents where Radhika Mataji has helped and cared for Suruchi Mataji. She also let her know that what she is doing is detrimental for her devotional service. And she should go and beg forgiveness from Radhika Mataji. Suruchi Mataji comes to JOSD retreat and hears about forgiveness and has come to speak to Radhika Mataji today. So Suruchi Mataji, this is the context. Suruchi Mataji has come to talk to Radhika Mataji. So one person in this is Suruchi and one is Radhika. And Suruchi is seeking forgiveness based on this step-by-step process that we have given. And the other person is going to get another scenario in the next slide to practice their forgiveness. So, here you are getting opportunity to ask for forgiveness. Even Prabhuji's as well, you can enact this drama. Okay? It is your turn. Your time starts now. You have only 3 minutes. Okay, just a minute. You have only 3 minutes to seek forgiveness, and the remaining 2 minutes out of 5 minutes, the other person like Radhika should be mentioning whether they felt that apology was genuine. It is like how it went, whether they were ifs and buts and whatever, so that it is just quick feedback. It is not the real situation. So that is why we are using this as opportunity to give feedback on the apology given. Okay? Fine. Your time starts now. 5 minutes, 3 minutes for apology, 2 minutes for explaining how it went. So you have heard about the apology from the other person. Now you should actually give a feedback on that apology, that whether everything was covered or not. And did you feel like Radhika Mataji, is she feeling that the apology was genuine or not? Like that feedback you have to give in the next 2 minutes. Okay, Hare Krishna. Are you ready for the second scenario? Now the roles are going to reverse. Now one person was asking apology and the second was giving feedback. Now the second person is going to give apology and the first person is going to give feedback for a different scenario. Now the second scenario that is there is also quite interesting. I have learned this from His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. So wonderful stories he comes up with. So last Saturday in the weekly program, Arjun Prabhu was washing pots. Karna Prabhu was walking past and was in a joking mood and said, Prabhuji, looks like Mataji hasn't trained you properly at home. Look how much time it is taking for you to wash one pot. Karna Prabhu and everyone around them laughed. Everyone continued their service and went home. Karna Prabhu's wife mentioned to him while driving back from home that possibly Arjun Prabhu has got offended by the comment and his face looked angry even though he did not show it afterwards. Karna Prabhu sent some general WhatsApp message to Arjun Prabhu which he did not respond to. He called him but Arjun Prabhu did not pick up. Oh, Karna Mataji, I said. Karna Prabhuji has attended the forgiveness retreat and has come to speak to Arjun Prabhuji today to seek his forgiveness. Okay, your time starts now. Hare Krishna, if you have offered your apology, then now receive the feedback for 2 minutes. Okay. So, what is your realization or learning from this practical experience of seeking forgiveness? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. No, I'm just saying. Okay, what else? Absolutely. Ready? Oh no. Okay, so that is why we actually have given these practice scenarios. So actually we get some ideas of how we can actually create our thinking. One of the other easy thing that we can do when we are going to go and seek for forgiveness is also write a letter. Don't post the letter. Write a letter just to put your thoughts together properly. And then read it to see whether you have put lots of ifs, buts and try to actually sneak in some other caveats and whatever that you because if you see that, then you can remove it, clarify it, clean it, so that your thinking process has now been put together. So that with that you can go and ask for forgiveness. Yes, Sudharma Mataji, you are trying to say something. You are raising your hand. Okay, Sannyas Prabhu. No. Intention is different, but you are putting if and buts, you are trying to justify your behavior. So, if and but will come when you are actually trying to pass on some responsibility to the other person. So, that is why if you think that it is going to happen, write the apology. Think about what ifs and buts are trying to tell you, like where you are trying to pass the blame to other person, and remove them. Because with that, your apology will not be genuinely accepted anyway. So maybe you will have to wait, even though I said earlier that you should do it as soon as possible. But if you do this half-hearted apology, it will backfire. So wait for the realization to come. Make Krishna give you some more pinches before you realize that, okay, I should actually seek proper apology. Yes. What feedback? Who's giving? Yeah. Yeah. No, in generally when forgiving situation, this is the situation where, because this is a exercise, we are asking the second person to give feedback on the process of how I applied the process of forgiveness, seeking forgiveness. Yeah, but in general, someone can mention that person that joking is not always the right thing to do. It actually reduces the respect that other persons have for you, because even if you are seriously trying to tell something, it may not be taken seriously. That is one thing. Second, it can possibly offend someone. The third is your relationship will get spoiled or whatever. There are many obstacles can create. Of course, it has its positives as well. It makes the atmosphere lively, right? But they have to just be conscious of where to do it and where not to do it. Yeah. So this is where as I was mentioning, that we make mistakes because of our nature. In the first 10-15 minutes of yesterday, we were talking about that we have our nature, and when we apply that nature everywhere, where we can make some mistakes and create some offenses. So we have to actually correct that behavior sooner or later. No, we cannot be perfect because we are in this material world, right? So we are definitely going to make mistakes. That is why we have to take this course of how to seek apology or forgiveness. So we can actually try our best to not offend others. But as soon as we understand that we have done something, we should seek forgiveness. Any other realizations or comments? No? Okay. So just to summarize then, how to seek forgiveness? First of all, genuine appreciation. That is preparing the ground for appreciating the devotee. Prepare the ground by appreciating the devotee so that you can seek forgiveness. And while appreciating, be very specific and genuine. Don't be like a generic, you are a nice devotee, that's why I am seeking or whatever. That will not work, because that will not be seen as genuine. Recognize your mistake. That is the second step. And the second step has multiple parts. First of all, you have to actually specifically say what wrong you have done, so that the other person also knows that you have understood your mistake. And then apologize without putting any ifs and buts. Clarify the intention if required. If you think that the intention was not understood, then you can clarify and suggest a remedy to correct your mistake. The third step is feeling genuine remorse, because that remorse will then remove the anartha from your heart, and that is how the mistake will not happen again. If the third part is not taken, even if you have apologized, you will keep doing the same mistakes again and again in your life, and we want to avoid that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.